Welcome to another episode of Lunch with the Shark. Join us as we dive deep into discussions about business, accounting, and finance to help you build a business that thrives. Now sit back and have a bite with your host, the Shark CFO, Vidal Espinosa.
Well, hello, and good afternoon to everyone. And let's start by Happy New Year. Happy New Year, happy 2021. I think we've heard it a lot over the course of the last couple of days, and let's make it real. Let's actually aim to have a happy year, regardless of whatever happens, regardless of whatever goes on in the world. Just think of yourself. And you're going to say, oh, this is so selfish. Not really. Make it a happy year for yourself. Think about you. Think about just you. Think about just whatever you want to do and just be happy. Stop trying to make everybody else happy, because you end up being unhappy. You end up being not focused on you. You will end up losing control, losing focus, losing aim, losing your goals, losing your perspective, losing your blueprint, losing your strategy, losing everything. Because what happens if you just want to keep everybody happy? There's no way you can make everybody happy. You need to start with yourself. You need to follow the instructions. If you ever have gone into an airplane and you've paid attention to the instructions that they give you when you are about to get off, and they say, hey, in the case of a dispressurization of your cabin, you need to you'll need supplemental oxygen. Put the mask yourself first before you help your kids and anybody else surrounding you. That's what you need to do. You need to put the oxygen mask yourself to become happy, to be happy, for happiness. Stop trying to make everybody else happy. Their problems are not your problems. If they don't plan accordingly, it's not your problem. Whether it's your family, your friends, your clients, your vendors, whatever it is, it's their problem. Yes, try to help them, but once you start helping yourself, you need to actually help yourself so you can help everybody else. And I think that's the first thing that I am going to take for the 2021 year. I'm going to start by helping myself so I can help others. I should stop answering emails and phone calls immediately, because again, their problems are not my problems. Yes, I am a problem fixer. Yes, I am a problem solver. Yes, I am the Shark CFO, and I will solve your problem, but in due time. Unless you're dying, unless the FBI or the Secret Service or the Internal Revenue Service is knocking at your door, I'll jump and be there. But anything else, you're going to have to take a turn and take a number like everybody else. Right? So please, let's start planning accordingly. Let's start by ourselves. I saw this morning a video from Hernan. Hernan, how are you? Happy New Year to you and all your family. And he was talking about one of our mentors, Tony Robbins. And he said that whether you're happy or unhappy, he didn't use those words, right? But this is to make an example of what I'm doing. And he was talking about, or he was saying that during the holidays, he actually slept in, he didn't work out, and he didn't feel good about himself. It's not that he was unhappy, but he just didn't feel good about himself breaking his habits, breaking his day-to-day routine. He didn't feel well. So if we do that, if we do some cheat days, if we do some cheat food in our diet, if we're going through a diet, that's gonna make you feel unease. That's gonna make you feel, shit, I shouldn't have done it. And I actually have an example for you. When I had my bariatric surgery, like 3 years ago or so, I actually wait for the moment to eat. I love food. It's not that it's not that I overate, just my metabolism, just my complexion, just the way I am. I was a fat kid. I was a big kid. I was fatty through my adult life until 3. And I love food. And now every time I eat, I actually wait to eat or aim to eat something delicious, something scrumptious, because I only eat between 3 to 5 ounces every meal. And I want to make it count. And whenever we go out to dinner or lunch or to eat at a restaurant, and if the food is not good, if the food is just blah, if the food is just decent, it's as if I lost an opportunity to have something good. It's like if I lost an opportunity, it's a lost opportunity to make it great. And it gives me, it makes me unease. It makes me unhappy. It makes me like, shit, I lost it. I lost the opportunity. What about you? Aim for excellence. Aim to make yourself happy. A couple of days ago, also, we were driving around Mexico, and I was noticing that most constructions, if not all of them, they're 95, they're between 80 to 95% finished. What do I mean about that? Either the sidewalk is not finished, either there's a couple of corners in the buildings that are like not leveled, or they didn't cut the structure, or something. There's something with the building or the constructions, whether they're private, whether they're condominiums, whether they're apartments, whether it's whatever it is, but they're not finished. Or at least they don't make the effort or the attempt to finish them. The side streets, the electric lighting, the public electric lighting, everything is half-assed. Everything is done just to do it. They half-ass it, but they charged you for the 100% completion. They half-ass it. So why don't we just start aiming for excellence? Why don't we just start aiming for excellence to make ourselves happy? If you start by making yourself happy, you are going to go a long way. If that's the only goal in your 2021, that'll be amazing. Remember, we spoke about this last week, and we said that it takes 21 to 3 months to convert your habits to create habits. And this week, we are going to talk about strategic planning. And why not focus it in our own personal life strategic planning? Why not focus it in our own house? Why not focus it? Maybe, well, we are in this for a business. If you're not in business for your own, in your employment, with your employee, maybe you're upset at your employer because he's making a shitload of money and he's paying you peanuts. Well, are you giving him peanuts, or are you giving him all you can give him? Just think about that. Is he giving you what you ask for? Or did they negotiate your salary? If you ask for X amount of money and they gave it to you, that's how much you're worth. Are you giving them that? Or are you just giving them peanuts? Aim for excellence. What's strategic planning? Let's start by defining strategic planning. Strategic planning is an organization's process of defining its strategy or direction and making decisions on allocating its resources to pursue this strategy. It may also extend to control mechanisms for guiding the implementation of the strategy. Strategic planning becomes prominent in corporations during the 1960s and remains an important aspect of strategic management. It is executed by strategic planners or strategists who involve many parties and research sources in their analysis of the organization and its relationship to the environment in which it competes. Holy fuck. This definition, it's as per the dictionary. Okay? Strategic planning is a formal process designed to help an organization maintain an optimal alignment with the most important elements of its environment. The strategic planning process supplies the organization with tools that promote future thinking, applies the systems approach, allows for setting goals and strategies, provides a common framework for decisions and communications, and relies on measuring performances. Strategic planning, I'm actually going to give you my own interpretation of strategic planning. And I'm going to give you with an examples. Okay? So strategic planning is, what's your goal for your company's marketing? Do you want to grow your social media likes? Do you want to grow your engagement with your community? What is it? Okay? If that's the goal, create a strategy on how you are going to achieve it. Strategic planning can be considered, in my own interpretation, like the blueprint. Like how the fuck you're going to do it. Which tools you're going to utilize. Who is going to be involved in your company? What are they going to do? With clarity to achieve that particular goal. But why do you want to achieve that particular goal? Just keep that in mind. It's not simply about just setting out what company does. And it does not dictate exactly what a company will be doing in 5 years timeline. It will allow the company to function correctly and for growth to be substantiated and long lasting. Okay? So the aim of a strategic plan is to point the company in the right direction with strategic landmarks along the way to make sure that there is direction in the company's journey. Here are 5 reasons why strategic planning has become essential to successful companies. And this is relevant. The first one is direction. As a company begins to grow or change over time, knowing the rough path that it needs to follow and the eventual goal, it's essential. Without a knowledge of the direction a company needs to go, it will be impossible for the collective employees and departments to understand how to get to the eventual end point. Have you told your team members, your clients, your vendors, your shareholders, whomever it is, where do you want to go? Or are you keeping everything inside you, in your head? Is it written? Is it posted? Where the hell you want to be in 5, 10, 20, 30 years? Are they driving towards the same direction? Just remember, Have you ever played this game where you pull, there's two teams that they pull a rope to see who pulls the strongest, and they move the mark? What happens if one team is pulling towards the left, the other one is pulling to the right? What happens? There's tension, and they move, and the strongest team moves to the one side, and they move the company to that side. But if that's not the way that management or executive team or the shareholders or the owners want to go, you're fucked, because you're taking the company the wrong direction. And then who do you blame? Your team. But your team knew exactly where do you want to go. If they go the opposite direction, it's because you did not provide clarity. It's because you were not clear. It's because you lost focus, and you thought that everybody was in tune with you. You thought that everything was simple. If you're in a different country and you're doing business on another country, you thought that the way of doing business in the country that you're from, it's identical to the way another country works. Clarity in your direction. Continuation. Recent trends in recruitment have seen people moving between companies at a fast pace than they ever have done, even in senior levels of the company. With this shift in labor and knowledge from company to company, it's necessary to have a plan that is understood through the company, even if the people who initially conceptualized and implemented the plan have left it. Again, it all boils down to clarity. Having this strong plan and sense of what the company is trying to achieve through it will mean that regardless of how many people leave and are replaced, there will always be an understanding of where the company is heading. Is it written down, or is it in your head? Is it clear, or is it very vague? Is it updated? How many people in the company know where you want to go? Number 3, sustainability. A big part of creating a strategic plan is the ability to look beyond the small gains of the present and at the big gains of the future. Without a strategic plan, the goals can be lost in favor of short-term gains, with decisions made now that slow growth down the road. With a strategic plan, the goal and bigger gains in the future are constantly the target, not the short-term gains that could potentially damage this. It means that the substantiability of the company, it's always in the mindset of those operating within. I'm going to give you a very clear example. My goal or my strategic planning for my wholesale company is to sell containers. Okay? It's to sell rice containers. 20 a day. And I'm just giving you an example, right? But because I'm so desperate, I'm going to start selling 5-pound bags here and there. Yes, you're making some money. You're making pennies. You're losing focus in the dollars. It's required the same energy and effort to look for a client that is going to buy you 20 containers a day than to fulfill and help 1,000 or 2,000 or 10,000 clients of 5 pounds bags. It's the same freaking effort. You're going to be giving so many time of yourself to fulfill those 5-pound bags that you are never going to find that client that is going to buy you the 20 containers a day. It's that sustainable? No, because you're going to get upset. Your direction, it's completely wrong. You are pulling to the wrong direction where your strategic plan is. And then you're going to be like, holy shit, my business is doing good. It's not doing well. Well, it's not doing well because you're just not sustainable. Communication. When a company doesn't have a strategic plan, the managers of individual departments need to set the agenda of what their department needs to achieve, often purely on a financial sense. It means that different parts of the company will almost operate independently of one another, meaning a disjoint and confusing way to operate. Your sales team, it's selling pounds here, pounds there, 20 pounds here, 100 pounds there. While the supplier, the purchasing department, it's trying to get pricing for 20 containers a day. And then the sales department sends you orders to the purchasing department for 20 pounds, 5 pounds, and they're like, what the hell? What's going on? We can't get the price at that. Do they know? Do they know? Agenda setting. Throughout any company's growth, there will be as many times of hardship as there will be plain sailing. When in the most difficult situations, losing sight of what the company stands for and what you are aiming towards, it's common. Don't give up. There are thousands of examples of companies who diverted away from their goals, from their original plan, to avoid short-term problems, only to find that it destroyed the company in the long run. Having a concrete aim through a strategic plan means that despite hardships, everybody in the company is focused on the end goal. If your goal is to sell 20 containers, that's your strategic plan, 20 containers a day. Obviously, yes, you're not going to sell immediately 20 containers a day unless you go and sell to a government agency, to whatever, right? But you need steps, right? But clear steps. If you start diverting from that, you're going to get burned out. And you're going to be putting up fires every freaking day. And you're going to end up saying, you know what? There's no point on continuing my company. Because you're going to get burned out. If you do accounting, if you do taxes, if you do human resources, if you do contracts, if you do marketing, if you do looking for vendors, if you do looking for clients, if you do, you're going to get burned out. I don't have money to do it. That's your limitation. Actually, you don't need a lot of money to get people to help you through all that. You just need to ask for help. You just need to have a clear agenda that will support your strategy. Wow. Wow. Strategic planning. Are you ready? Have you strategized for your company? I hope you did prior to the beginning of 2020, this new cycle. What are you waiting for? What's your strategy? What's your strategy? I highly recommend you, again, watching the Queen's Gambit. Some people say it's bad, some people say it's good, some people say it's lame. Just look at her strategy. She, even though she is a master, that's what I call. I think they're called master chess master players or whatever. She continues studying. She continues creating new moves and seeing if this happens here, if this happens there. She trains, regardless of whether she's an alcoholic or drug addict. She trains. Are you doing that? That's why I started today's episode with, are you making yourself happy. Strategize. Even if you're playing cards with your friends, or dominoes with your friends, or Monopoly with your family, or whatever freaking board game you're playing at home, you strategize. Even though for happiness, even though you're having just spending time with your family, it's all about winning. Whomever wins or whoever won, it's because they strategize and they utilize their weaknesses from everybody else. Whether they pay attention, whether they know it or not, there's a weak point on everybody. Well, it's been great seeing you today. I wish you the best for 2021. We'll be back tomorrow live again. And I'm going to end up today's show. Oh, there's something to download. Please, team, tell me what is it to download? Jesus, Jeff, please put it back up and see. Okay, so no, nothing to download. So I want to end up today's show with a quote from Winston Churchill. He was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. And he said, success, it's not final. Future, it's not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Success, it's not final. And failure, it's not fatal. It is a courage to continue that counts, because you're going to learn from those successes as you celebrate, and you're going to learn from those failures as you analyze them. It's been great seeing you today. Bon appetit. Ciao.
Thank you for listening to Lunch with the Shark. If you would like to set up a consultation with the Shark CFO, Vidal Espinosa, visit his website www.invictus-advisors.com, and don't forget to subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn.